Hey everybody, Nathan Ronen here with another update. This one, listen up, if you're a level 3 candidate in the 2024 or soon to be 2025 program, you want to hear this recording because it all pertains to you. So if you'd like to continue receiving these updates on a bi-weekly or weekly basis as I post them, press the subscribe button now and the notifications button so that you can hear this essential information as I post it, because it could impact your decision on when you take the CFA exam, will you take the CFA exam, and other decisions you might be trying to make about your CFA prep. Well, one of the questions I've been getting is, Nathan, I'm in 2024 already. I'm hearing all the news about the big changes to the Level 3 program for 2025 and beyond. How's it going to work? Well, that's what I want to dedicate this recording to. To be honest with you, a lot of the information is publicly available, so there's no inside information here. There's nothing that the CFA told me specifically that you can't find on their website, but I want to put everything into perspective because sometimes it's easier to hear somebody explain it to you than it is to actually read it in black and white. If you are taking the Level 3 program in 2024, in August of 2024, you're under what we call the old regime, meaning that it is a completely portfolio management-based exam, and it's pretty much the same program as it's been for a few years, especially since the pandemic. Hasn't changed much. Now, for 2025, if you're going to go that route in February or August, there is a big change that is occurring in the Level 3 program. And what I want to address is, what are these pathways? Is it going to be harder for me as a candidate to do one pathway over another to get the charter? Can I do more than one pathway? How is the pathways different from the previous program? Is it going to be essays, item sets? Tell me all about it, Nathan. All right, so that's what I'm going to do. So if you're thinking about taking the Level 3 exam in 2025, in February or August, you might want to know that the Level 3 program is going to have three different paths that you can pursue in order to pass your exam and get your charter. Path number 1 is called the portfolio management path. I'll talk about that in a second. The second one is the private markets pathway, and I'll explain that as well. And then the third one is the wealth management or private wealth management pathway, and I'll discuss that as well too. So there's 3 different pathways that you can do. You have to select at the time that you register for the 2025 exam which path you're going to pursue: portfolio management, private markets, or private wealth management. And you can't change it once you've registered for the exam, because the CFA Institute is going to give you the curriculum and they're going to administer the exam based on that pathway. So then you might ask, well, Nathan, can I do more than 2 pathways? The answer is technically yes. If you fail the exam in February or August or both, then the next time you register, you can do a different pathway. Okay, so if you do the private markets pathway the first time and you fail the exam, you can then do the private wealth management pathway. Up to you. But hopefully you'll pass it the first time and you don't need to do multiple paths. But if you still wanted to do all 3 paths, you will, as a charter holder and as a member of the CFA Institute. Once you get your charter, you will be presented with, refresher readings from Level 1 and Level 2, and you'll also have access to the practical skills modules, and you'll have access to the different pathways at Level 3. So there's 2 ways to do multiple levels, or multiple pathways. But again, you want to focus on one. Select the pathway that you think is not only most interesting to you, but aligns with your career goals or career aspirations. So if you're looking to be a wealth manager, maybe you want to do the wealth management pathway, the private wealth. If you're interested in debt or equity, private credits, do the private markets pathway. And if you're interested in continuing the same type of path that you did in 2022, 2023, and 2024, the traditional, unadulterated, let's put it that way, Level 3 program, you could do the portfolio management pathway. Your choice. Is there any difference in the difficulty level of the exams or the material? Absolutely not. And the CFA Institute is giving a resounding no. Obviously, come on, people. If one route was easier than the other, word would get out, and people would all go for that pathway because it's easier. But it's not going to happen. They're going to test the exams. They're going to use their resources to test it out and see, that everything is kept up to snuff and up to par and not, adulterating the value of the CFA accreditation. So don't expect any one of the three routes to be easier. Choose the one that is most interesting to you and aligns with your career aspirations, as I told you just a moment ago. The other one I get is, hey, Nathan, if I do one of the pathways and I pass, will it actually say on my charter, CFA charter, private wealth management pathway, or, private markets pathway? No, it's just going to say your CFA, it's going to say CFA charter, your name, the date, that's about it. They're not going to identify the pathway that you used. So in essence, what I'm advising you to do is, if you really have and are set on doing a particular pathway, do it. If you're asking me which one you should do, I'm going to tell you the same thing. Choose the one that aligns to your interest the most and to your career aspirations. But if you ask me, hey, Nathan, on the level, what would you do? What would you do if you were me? I would just do the regular portfolio management pathway, because there's a lot of material, a lot of mock exams out there, a lot of third-party resources that you can use for that particular pathway. The other two pathways are new. You're going to be a guinea pig. There might not be as much mock exams or sample problems for those pathways. So I would probably select the portfolio management pathway and just go with it as is. But again, that's a total personal decision. But if you ask me, that's what I would do. Okay, and another question that you might be thinking is, will the exams be the same? Well, let's pull back for a second. All three pathways, private markets, private wealth management, portfolio management pathway, all three pathways will have an exam that is administered with essays and item sets. No difference there. So where does the difference lie? The difference is probably going to lie in the fact that all the essays that you receive will be relevant to all three paths. And then item sets will be more dedicated, or not exclusively, but more dedicated to the particular pathway that you selected. So there are differences in the readings between the three paths. So any of the similar readings will be essays, and any of the different readings will be the item sets. And that will make it easier to grade, because they don't want to have three sets of different essays to grade for three different paths to come up with a pass rate for each individual, method. So that's how I kind of see it. I think that's kind of how they're mentioning it as well. But you're still going to get an essay and item sets, so it doesn't really matter. Now, the other thing that you should keep in mind about the exam is that if you take, let's talk about the private markets pathway. If you do the private markets pathway, 65 to 75% of your curriculum readings, your modules, and your exam is going to relate to the common core of portfolio management. And then the remaining 25 to 35% of the exam and the curriculum will be specifically dedicated to private markets. Similarly, if you're going to do the wealth management pathway, 65 to 75% of the curriculum is going to be, and the exam is going to be, related to the common core, portfolio management, and the remaining 25 to 35% will all be dedicated to the wealth management pathway. And if you do the traditional portfolio management pathway, it's going to be the same as it was in 2023 and 2024. You're going to have those different topical areas: fixed income, equity, alternative investments, trading, performance evaluation, ethics and GIPS, asset allocation, capital market expectations, institutional investors, private wealth management. So it'll be the same program as it has traditionally been for ages, okay? But that's going to be the distinction, and it's all going to be pretty much dedicated to portfolio management. So in essence, you want to select the route that you think will be most interesting to you. Don't worry about what other people are taking. Don't worry about what is a employer going to think. Your charter is not going to say which specific path you took. And to be honest with you, I don't think if I was an employer and I'm actually looking to hire somebody, and I'm interviewing somebody that had just received their charter, and I have the charter, I'm going to sit there and go, did you take the private markets pathway? Wink, wink. I don't think so. I don't think it's much of a talking point. I don't think you're going to be asked on an interview. I don't think they're going to give you an interview just because you took a particular path. Again, I don't want to downplay the significance of this change. All I'm trying to say is let's be realistic about it. It's for your aspirational and career goals. So select what you think is interesting without sort of this mindset or strategy that this is going to land you a better job. Okay? It's going to educate you more about that particular specialty or specialization. Okay? So that's what I would keep in mind here. And anything else that I want to cover is, I also want to say that, the Level 3 program is going to be a very interesting program because it's also going to have one additional requirement that you need to satisfy. 10 to 15 hours of practical skills modules developed around portfolio construction. So after you take your CFA exam in February or August, whichever path you take, doesn't really matter, you will still have to satisfy the requirements before your exam results are released of doing the practical skills module that's created for you for all candidates sitting for the Level 3 exam on portfolio construction. That is the new addition that you don't have in 2024 that will be initiated in 2025 and beyond. Okay, so there's no Python programming or data science or artificial intelligence like you have at Level 1 and Level 2, or financial statement modeling or analyst modeling. You just have one basic practical skills module that you're going to need to satisfy on portfolio construction so that your exam results can be released. Okay, that's pretty much what I wanted to talk about today. If you have any questions, reach out to me. I am a prep provider. I am happy to help you to pass your Level 3 exam. I want to get you that charter. Let's do it on the first try. If it's not your first try, let's do it on the next try. And let's get you out of the program and on to bigger and better things in life, because you don't want to be a candidate forever. And we don't want you to be a candidate forever either. So reach out to me at Chalk and Board. That's CHALK and AND Board. Chalk and Board, BOARD, chalkandboard.org. And I really wish you all the best on whichever path you take. And if you have questions, reach out to me. Good luck to you. And that's a wrap.